All right, so kicking off chapter 1 properly, we're going to be talking about explicit and implicit costs, and then accounting and economic profit. So we're going to use this big pi symbol to represent profit. It is also used in macro to represent inflation. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. I don't know why they have all these Greek letters and they decided to recycle the pi to mean two things. But in this class, we're going to use pi to denote profit. What is profit? Profit is one of the most elementary of economic concepts. Profit is the amount of money that you take in, also known as your revenue. So you're running a lemonade stand, you're selling 50 cups of coffee for $1 each. You get price times quantity as revenue, right? $1 each, 50 cups. So our revenue is 50 in our lemonade stand example. We're going to subtract out of that revenue our costs. Our costs are going to be, again, multiplied by the quantity. But instead of a price, now we're going to have a variable we're going to determine in a second called our average total costs. But essentially the way we can think about it is we bought all this lemons, all these sugar, all this. We bought lemons, sugar, and cups, and we figured out that for these 50 cups of lemonade, the lemon, the sugar, and the cups all cost maybe $5. And so since I am selling 50 cups, if I want my average total cost, I would take my total cost and I would divide it by the quantity. So average total cost is equal to 5 divided by 50. And so my average total cost is going to equal 0.1. So now I'm going to say minus $0.1 times my 50. Now when I multiply this, what happens? I reconstitute my total cost. So this ends up being my total cost, which ends up just being 5. So this ends up being 50 minus 5. So my profit ends up being $45. Now this is just the first part of the story. If we were in accounting, we would stop there. This is what's called our accounting profit. Why is it our accounting profit? Because our accounting profit only takes into account our explicit costs. And typically that's all we talk about is our explicit costs, right? What are explicit costs? Explicit costs are the costs that I actually have to pay. With, dollars, a check, a credit card, whatever the case may be, right? I have to pay it. So if accounting profit is dealing exclusively with explicit profit, if accounting profit is dealing exclusively with explicit costs, then what the heck is this economic profit, and does it have anything to do with this other thing that is part of the 7.1 header, implicit costs? And the answer is, damn Skippy, you're right. So let's define it. So let's first talk about implicit costs before we complicate the concept of profit anymore. So implicit costs are defined to be the opportunity costs of using resources that the firm already owns. And we could just think of the firm as yourself, right? You can be a firm of one. And so the biggest implicit cost that people fail to take into account when they're entrepreneurs is the foregone wages from working so many hours. If you were running somebody else's lemonade stand, they'd pay you, what, $8 an hour or something like that, right? Are you making $8 an hour selling these 50 cups of lemonade? We'll figure it out. Some of the other implicit costs, so this is the opportunity cost of using the resource of time. The foregone wage is the opportunity cost of using the resource of time. Another opportunity cost is going to be the foregone interest on the capital invested. You know, maybe you spent $100 making a lemonade stand. That's $100 that you could have put, you know, on a risk-free asset and earned $4 over the next year or something like that, right? With interest rates what they are. So there's foregone interest on the capital invested as well as the foregone wages.